it's Nancy with Nancy's Nibbles of Life, here to bring you another video. And today I am so excited because I turned in some of my wins on the Weight Watchers app and bought a new book, the Weight Watchers Simply 5 book. I don't know if you guys know what Weight Watchers wins are and how it works, but essentially every time you track a food or an activity or your weight, you accumulate points, and you can turn those points in for products that are affiliated with Weight Watchers. And one of the things on that website is, in fact, this cookbook, the Simply 5 cookbook. I've turned in points for things like a wireless speaker. I believe I got some socks at one time. But I think this really is a bang for your buck, the Simply 5 Weight Watchers cookbook. And I'm so excited to bring this to you today because guess what? I'm going to be doing a new series where I bring one of these recipes to you, maybe on a weekly basis or an every other weekly basis, so that we could try the foods together and learn about the recipes in the cookbook. We could find out if they're tasty, how simple they are to make, if it's true to the recipe, and if it's going to help us lose any weight. So that's 4. Oh, and let's see, maybe I should come up with a 5th one. Oh, maybe the 5th could be if our family likes them, because I live with my husband here in Los Angeles. It's just the two of us, but he can kind of be a picky eater. And so when it comes to Weight Watchers foods, I want to make sure that it's something that my whole family can enjoy, which happens to just be my husband and I, but your family could include your children. And so it's so important that we are spending money and cooking things that will please the whole family and keep us healthy. So again, I'm so excited to bring this to you, and I can't wait to share more recipes. But today I have a good one, and I'm going to share that recipe with you now. So the book, it's laid out so beautifully. Look at these pictures. This one is a flounder recipe, but the pictures are so vivid and so beautiful. The book is laid out to where it will tell you how many servings you can get per recipe. The points are calculated by the green, blue, and purple plans. And it also has things like no wheat, no dairy. And so you can really use this menu to fit and accommodate any lifestyle, any dietary restrictions. So they've really done a good book. And again, it's just filled with 125 recipes, and these could be breakfast, lunch, or dinner and snacks. There's also a section here that goes into the various herbs and seasonings that they use. And there's also a sweet desserts section of this book, so I can't wait to go into that. So I'm new to Weight Watchers, filming videos here for Weight Watchers. Of course, I've done Weight Watchers for a few years, and I really love it because it's a lifestyle plan. It's one of these things where once you get the basics, you could really start to utilize the plan on a day-to-day basis, and even check out for a few months up to a year, and then come back in the plan and still kind of have the basics. So I'm kind of ashamed to say I've been with the plan for so many years, and I'm still working on my weight loss journey. But you know, that's what it is. It is a journey. And so I do some of the tips and tricks that I learned my first year on Weight Watchers. They still stick with me today, and I use them over and over again. And I have to say, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm not where I was. So I will continue with the plan until I am satisfied and I hit my goal. And along the way, it's fun. You learn a lot of new things, and you try a lot of new foods. So to me, it's worth the journey. And if you're on Weight Watchers and if you've been part of the plan for a little bit, just stick with it, you know, because I tell you what, it's better to have a plan than no plan at all. So let's get into today's recipe. So for today's recipe, I thought long and hard about how I was gonna introduce this new regimen for my channel in terms of introducing recipes from the Simplified Cookbook. And instead of just opening the book and picking one thing and going from there, I thought I would kind of come out of my comfort zone and cook something that I've never made before, because I want to test the limits of the recipes in the book to ensure that they are either as simply as they say they are, and then also, again, learn about a new ingredient, something that I may not have liked before, but would love to incorporate it because maybe the points are friendly, or I'm just simply curious about it. And I think I found one today in the book that I really want to try. So the recipe is actually the North African Red Lentil Soup. So I'll hold this up so you can see that. It again is the North African Red Lentil Soup. I know that this is summer, and cooking soup in the summer may seem a little weird, especially here where I live in Southern California. It's been really warm lately, but you just can't beat the point values of soup. And I've been working from home for the last few months, and I eat at home for lunch every day. And sometimes it gets a little boring, the same old turkey wrap with cheese and chips and maybe a pickle. So instead of something that might get me in a rut and tempts me to eat something that I shouldn't, I decide I'm going to try something new and maybe have this soup for a couple of days out of the week. So again, it's called North African Red Lentil Soup. So I've picked up all of the ingredients, and one of the first things that I got was this bag of red lentils. Guys, these beans are so gorgeous. Look at them. Look at that color. So this is the Kroger brand of the red lentil beans, but look at that pretty color. You know, if you have kids and they do arts and crafts, these red lentils would be probably something pretty fun to stick on some construction paper, get you some Elmer's glue, and maybe make your name or something really pretty out of these beans, because that color is just so gorgeous and kind of reminds me of a summer sunset. So I'm going to use these beautiful red lentils. I've never cooked with lentils before, but my husband and I love beans, and they're a good source of fiber, and the beans are 0 points on the plan. So let's talk a little bit about points since I mentioned it. So the recipe that I'm going to make serves 4, which is a lot. I'll probably end up freezing these beans, because that's one of the things that concerns me a little bit about this book, is that for the most part the recipes all serve around 4, and I can understand that. You know, if you have a family, you need larger portions, but for me in this series I might be cutting back on some of the quantity of the ingredients to make sure I don't waste anything. What if I don't like it? I don't want it, you know, sitting around for days and wasting it, or using the space in my freezer. So I may be, like I said, changing the quantities on some of these ingredients so that I get 2 portions rather than the 4. But I'm going to use the 4 portion today because, like I said, I could eat this for lunch for the rest of the week. So again, the points on this recipe: for the green plan, it's 5 points. For the blue plan, which I'm currently on, this is only a 1-point recipe. You cannot beat a 1-point recipe. The purple plan is also 1 point, so you can't beat a 1-point recipe. So speaking of ingredients, they are 3 cups of water, 14-ounce can of diced tomatoes, and this recipe calls for garlic and onions, but I couldn't find the diced onions with, the diced tomatoes with onion and garlic, so I'm going to chop my own and put them in the soup. And then a teaspoon of ground cumin, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, and a 1/3 cup cilantro, and a 1/2 cup of plain Greek yogurt. So I'm going to use the Fage. I have the Fage here is the yogurt. And on my cutting board, I have the cilantro and onion. I'm gonna chop that now. And I also have a jalapeno because I like a little spice and things kind of hearty like beans. So I'm gonna chop the onion and the jalapeno, and then we're gonna move to the next step. Alright guys, so now that I've cut my onion and jalapeno, remember the jalapeno is something that I want to add. You don't necessarily have to add that, but so now it says, in a medium saucepan combine water, tomatoes, lentils, cumin, salt and pepper, and then bring them to a boil. So I have already measured out my lentils, that's 1 cup. I have my 3 cups of water here, and I'm gonna open my can of tomatoes and add that to the saucepan and let that come to a boil. So I'm gonna do that. I'll be right back. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes. These beans should be done. These lentils should be done. So I'm gonna check them out and then we'll complete the recipe. It calls for yogurt and cilantro. So I'll plate them up and put those on top, and we'll stir that in and then see what we're looking like. Okay. To taste. And again, I've never made red lentils before, so I'm very excited about how this is gonna taste. So first things first, looking at the recipe book and then looking at my own beans, it looks pretty similar. So here's the recipe book picture, and here is my bowl of lentils. So I'll put this back so you can see. So they look kind of the same. So I'm gonna taste it. I'm gonna stir in some of that fayet. Give it a taste. It's hot. Ooh, oh my God. That's freaking good. Wow. Okay. That cumin and that cilantro add like an exotic, almost Middle Eastern type flavor. Of course, North African red lentil soup, so I guess it would be. But that is yummy. And I could totally see incorporating this alongside my turkey wrap or my sandwich, kind of a soup and sandwich. But actually what I'm gonna do is save my portion for tonight, because we're having roasted salmon, and I could see this alongside my salmon with maybe a little bit of white or jasmine rice. So that's what I'm gonna do. But for now, guys, I'm gonna sign out with my 1-point North African red lentil soup out of the Simplified cookbook, and I can't wait to bring you more recipes from this book. Remember, if you like the content, if you want to stick around to see what other recipes I'm gonna make for you out of this cookbook, please share my content. Please also subscribe to the channel and give me a like and leave me a comment. I'm so interested in what you think. So again, I'm Nancy with Nancy's Nibbles of Life, and thank you so much for joining with me today, and I'll see you on the next video, okay? Bye!